Howdy, howdy, happy Sunday, folks. Sunday Scaries is on site again, but this time we're at different stadiums. Find out where Buccs McGee and I settle in to watch some live football just in a few minutes.
Oh, it's finally happened. Finally, a coach has fallen to the wayside, and it may not be the one that I've predicted before.
The Eagles in Dallas square off for one of two matchups in the next 5 weeks against each other. Let's see how the NFC East shakes out after part one of this Eastern Grudge match.
And finally, possibly the top two teams in the AFC finally meet. Tyreek gets to meet up with his old boys from Kansas City over yonder. What will be the aftermath of Kansas City, Miami?
All that and more as Sunday Scares with Bucks McGee hits the official halfway point of the 2023 NFL season. Stay tuned, we preview all the action.
Now, normally, when you're seeing myself, Bucks McGee, and my co-host here, Nutmeg to Palmetto, we're usually in different areas. But today, we are on location. My friend Nutmeg is there at Panther Stadium there, and I myself am here at the lovely Texan Stadium. Nutmeg, how are we doing today, sir?
Good, sir. Yeah, different locations like usual, but not like usual in our usual locations.
I know, very weird. It's like, okay, last time we were together, now we're a little apart, but, on the road.
Throw a few 100 miles in between. Well, more than that.
Exactly, yeah, could be about 7, it's probably about 800-900. So it's a good chunk. Good chunk.
So
but,
of course, I'm a little trek up the road from me in Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium to watch my Colts. Hopefully we can get a win and salvage a 500 record to this point. Well,
sure,
I guess we're 3-5, so we'll need one more to be a 500, but one more step closer. I know the Panthers came off their first win last week, but you know what? I'm feeling good. We're due.
You're due for one, huh? Due for one.
And I'm due to break my streak of seeing them lose in person.
And I myself am here in the lovely Houston area, home of the Houston Texans, where my Bucks are looking to kick a 3-game skid against CJ Stroud and the mighty Houston Texans. So should be a battle, should be exciting. I can't wait to get this going. So lots of fun so far this week, huh?
3-game skid. We felt pretty good about how the Bucs season was going, and now I think it's been a little bit of a rough one.
The offensive line decided to, show itself, not the way I'd like to, but hey, all it takes is one win, and you're back on it. This very feisty NFC South. So
yeah,
one game at a time.
Yeah. What would be your prediction? I mean, Houston has looked significantly better than we thought going into the season, but they're coming off a rough one against these Carolina Panthers. Got their teeth punched in a little bit. They couldn't really punch any scores into the end zone.
Yeah, I think the key to this is the fact that they haven't been able to run the ball. They're kind of like us. They mirror us in that way. The run game's pretty much non-existent, so this is going to be a who can throw the ball and keep the turnovers to a minimum.
Yeah. Do you think will it be an ugly one?
I have a feeling. I think sometimes you got to win ugly to kind of get on the right track. So hey, I'll take an ugly. I'll take a 13-6 win. Beggars can't be choosers, So I'll definitely take it.
Yeah, I don't know about my game. I kind of feel like it could be ugly, which means it'll be 30 points for each side. It'll be like the Browns game.
No, that's true. You guys, Uncle Rico puts the points up.
Yeah. Just if it's like the Brown games, hopefully not. Hopefully not another gift call for the opposition.
Yeah, because at that point, there's no talking you down. I don't know what's going to happen at that point.
Yeah, I'll be burning jerseys and stuff.
So it'll be time then, like we talked about last week. It'll be time.
No. I'll commit through next year at least. But it'll be bad. I'll be in a very rare mood. So speaking of rare moods, the Raiders showed off some moody behavior this week in a very we figured we got by the last 2 weeks, maybe 3. We didn't have any news to discuss.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden this week we knew we might have the chance to talk about something because the trade deadline passed, but Black Monday for one team in particular came a little bit early this year.
Oh yeah, Raiders decided enough was enough. It was time to cut ties with Josh McDaniels. The embattled head coach of numerous franchises. 2 out of 3, one he never showed up for.
That's right, mine.
So it was time, and let's be real. That team's a hot mess. It was time to cut. And what are you going to do? They can't score. They looked horrible this week. So it's one of those deals where they had to make a change. They did. Antonio Pierce is now the interim head coach. The search
Where'd that come
for
from?
right? Like I figured he just retired, went about his way, Antonio Pierce of Giants lore. And lo and behold, he's there in LA with the Raiders coaching, and who knows? Maybe this will be an audition. Maybe he'll, do well enough, and maybe I don't think the Raiders will keep him on. I really don't. I think they're going to look for a splashy signing, as the Raiders do. I don't know. They may go the college route. I don't know.
Yeah.
But with the talent that's on that team, and there is some talent on the offensive side, minus Jimmy G.
Yeah. Yeah. And defensive side, Max Crosby's put up an all-pro worthy season.
Yeah, that defense has played better than expected. They've held up. So it's just, I guess they're just gonna try to just put up some moral victories, maybe get some wins, and see what happens.
Yeah, and they went full cleanouts because it wasn't just Josh McGee. They got rid of their general manager, Dave Ziegler, too. So this is like a real big shakeup from Mark Davis, comparable to something his father would have done.
Yeah, exactly. He said, all right, what would Dad do in this situation?
Burn it down.
Yep, burn it down and just build it back up. What's funny is they still owe John Gruden money as well.
And now they owe Josh McDaniels like $6 million.
I believe the total of the two together is $80 million. So you're paying guys to sit on the couch. I want to be the Raiders head coach, man.
Yeah, really.
I'll sign for $2 million. Fire me after the third game. I'm good. I'm gonna take my swag and run.
Yeah.
It's like what do you do? Like really? It must be nice to throw money around like that. This is ridiculous. And now the Raiders are benching Jimmy G as well. So I don't know what this team is going to look like this week. It's going to be interesting. But they're, hopefully, they can turn something around, kind of give something the fans to root for, and we'll see who the new coach should be. I would think they would wait till the end of the season. Don't rush this decision because they've got to be going college because there's nobody, I think, that was let go last year that's worth really looking into. I think it's going to be somebody new, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. The Raiders single-handedly the best retirement package in America.
That's it, man. If you guys want to retire and retire good, go to the Raiders.
Think it up for a year and a half, walk away with $40 million.
If you work in like the protein shop, maybe you make $70,000. They'll fire you. They'll still pay you. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think that could actually, because they're in Vegas. Vegas has developed a rather quick turn sports culture there, with the Knights being so good, winning the cup, and Las Vegas Aces winning a couple titles there. So they need to make a splash. So something like Going if they go the college route, that could be a legitimate destination for one Lincoln Riley.
Or possibly Mr. Harbaugh over there in
Oh, yeah, if he
Michigan.
wants to come back to the NFL.
That could be it. They're dealing with their own little bit of drama there in Michigan. So if he's looking to get out, Mr. Davis, that family loves the Outlaws, the Rebels. So it'll be interesting.
And the Niners were not very good when he took that job many years back. So he's used to turning around franchises on a short term.
No, exactly. And it could be a good fit.
Do you like the Antonio Pierce interim tag, or do you think this is like a Jeff Saturday part 2?
I hope not, but the difference is Antonio Pierce has been there. He's been coaching, so there's a bit of a difference in the situation. I don't know if Pierce has really been in, talks with other teams about head coaching positions. So I don't know if this is like his first real forte in the spotlight, but if it turns out that, he gets him playing 500 ball, maybe not with the Raiders, but someone else who may be looking for a coach may take him on and say, hey, or down the road, this could be an audition. So the interim is such a tough title. It's kind of like, you're not going to have the job. It's like substitute teacher. Like when we had substitute teachers, like you really respect the substitute teacher. You were like, okay, I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting around doing nothing in class. Interim is like, okay, what is this guy? He's not going to be there. So he's like always looking over his shoulder. Is he going to be there? If the new guy comes in, is he going to keep me? So are you just kind of like hanging out knowing that you're not going to have a job at the end of the season?
I feel like Antonio Pierce is a fiery guy. So, and usually in the first couple games, the team does get a fireland under them a little bit just because it's a breath of fresh air. And him having kind of a firebrand personality as it is, that might keep him going a little bit, especially for a team that's, despite their struggles, has actually played very hard this year.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that's great, but now you're starting a rookie quarterback. If that kid doesn't perform, all the fire in the world is great, but you're still going to lose.
They like committed to Aiden O'Connell.
Well, hopefully they see something in him, because if not, they could always knock on the door to one of the minority owners there in Raiderland, number 12.
Ah, that's right.
He may be a little bored, nothing to do. Maybe eke him into the playoffs. Hey,
you imagine.
Man, if Tom Brady was to come back and at least get them in the playoffs, forget about it. You put him in the Hall of Fame next. You just put him in. Waive the 5 years. It's over. It's a wrap. You waive it. He's in. That's it. But hey, if they're willing to say this is a rebuild project, okay, then you go all in. Now, as long as Devontae's on board with it, then that's great. Because if he starts, complaining about it, then maybe you should have traded him in the first place, trade deadline. Because, there were rumors that, the Jets had, tried to have conversations with the Raiders about him, and they said, nope, not happening. So if he's committed and he's willing to sit there a year and see what this kid's about, then hey, do it.
Yeah. Last point on this, ironically enough, their first game in this new era is 1 at home, so that's a good thing. 2 against inferior, well, maybe not inferior to them, but at least on par with them. And ironically enough, it's Antonio Pierce's old team, the Giants. So what are the odds that they actually can get a spark under them and get a win in this post Josh McGee era?
They could, because I don't know who's quarterback in the Giants. I'm thinking it's Tommy. True. I believe it's Tommy DeVito. I believe he's the guy. So you got Tommy DeVito and the young Rook.
Yeah.
So what are you looking for? A 9-6 game?
Well, hey, could be. Take the under.
You know what? I say that, and then they both put up 30+ points, and I'm looking the fool. So bet the over for fun. Bet the over.
Next thing you know, Aiden Conlon's looking like Will Levis last week.
Exactly. 4 tutties, passer rating of like 104. It could happen. It's the NFL. It's probably written in the script.
That's right.
So we'll see what happens. But, the Raiders have a long road now. Now they've got to see what they want to do with their future.
Yeah. Now, this Raiders move did steal the spotlight from the trade deadline this week. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we've gotten spoiled the last few years because trades actually happen in the deadline, and historically, the trade deadline was the most boring of all the four
The
major
NFL's
professional
trade
sports.
deadline was like the worst thing on earth, man. It was like watching paint dry. It's like, okay, I'll trade you 5 helmets for a box of old practice jerseys. That's what it felt like.
And
It was nothing.
yeah, and this year we actually got some trades early on, so we were figuring, okay, that was probably it. That was probably the sparks, but nope. The San Francisco not the San Francisco 49ers said, hold my beer again.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough for them to get Randy Gregory from Dallas. Now they got to get former number 2 overall pick Chase Young from
Yes.
Washington, who's obviously they had a little bit of a hot start earlier in the season, but now they've settled in back to being a poor Washington team. Uh, and like we said when they got Randy Gregory, why is this defense doesn't need any help?
Right.
What are these other teams doing? Giving them more great defensive players. So
Yeah, it's like really like it's like when the Eagles call, you don't pick up the phone
yeah,
because they're trying to poach you. When the Niners call, they're looking for something.
yeah,
And I think this may have something to do with the quarterback position in a weird way. They may be saying the Niners, they may be like, okay, you know what? Maybe we're not 100% on our offense. We've got to figure this out. We're kind of flux. Brock hasn't looked that great. It's just something's not right. So what do? You shore up probably one of the top 3 defensive units in the league, and you say, you know what, we're going to hang our hat on these guys, and hopefully by the time the season ends, our offense will have found itself again. And by bringing in Chase Young, that's what you do. That line is scary now. That is ridiculous. That's just that. Why? Why would you do it?
yeah.
So you got Bosa, Young, freaking Armstead floating around in there.
It's like
Freaking
Steel Curtain or Purple People Eaters level.
yeah. You picked up what's his name, Javon Hargrove there from the Eagles,
Mm,
right? And your linebackers are still top notch, led by Fred Warner. So yeah, what were you looking to do? Were you bored, San Fran? And you're like, let's go get some Chase Young.
Don Lynch wheels and deals.
He does. He does. But you know what? I think this is one of those moves where you're like, it's all or nothing, like literally.
Yeah.
Um, I would have thought they would have went maybe more offense, but maybe there was nothing out there. Maybe they kicked the tires on some things, and some people maybe wanted a little more. But Washington was willing to give away, Chase Young. Now the thing was this: the rumor was it was either going to be Chase Young or Montez Sweat that was going to be traded. Those were the 2 guys. They felt if they got rid of one, they would have kept the other because that's the strength of that Washington team is that D line. Those guys are
Yeah.
great. So it was a surprise when both went, the other day. But the Niners do what they got to do. So we'll find out what this D line is going to be.
And now quarterbacks are like licking their lips when they see Washington on the schedule because all that pressure is now gone.
Yeah, like like Washington. What do you like? Honestly, it's got to be a fire. They've got to be just getting ready to clean house in the
Yeah.
offseason. Riverboat Ron's got to be gone. And the guys brought respectability to that franchise. Like I said, with everything that's going on there, you got some picks. You're going to probably try to figure out what you're going to do. That's fine. I think you're set at quarterback for the future. With Sam Howell, but yeah, San Fran hit big.
Yeah. And the trade deadline could not have been their bye week couldn't have been scheduled at the best time because they make this big splash and they got a whole bye week for Chase Young to learn the playbook and get used to the system before they actually have to bring him onto the field.
Exactly. And it's not like all the pressure's on him. With everyone that's on that line, any one of those guys, next thing you know, is going to be averaging double-digit sacks. Like, who do you double? Like, really, on that line, who do you double? Because even if you try to double 1 or even 2, then at that point, Fred Warner's going to come busting through there with his speed. Like, quarterbacks will have to get rid of the ball in less than 2 seconds. Like, it is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Or everything's going to be pistol shotgun formation.
Exactly. And it's going to be like, oh, here we go. It's I give them credit. I give the Niners credit. They dealt when they dealt, but now you've got to figure out the offense still. The offense is still a question, but I think with that defense, they're going to be all right.
Yeah. Now, the other notable trade to talk
Mm-hmm.
is now we've sang up Josh Dobbs' praises a couple times this season because he went into
Oh, boy, Josh Dobbs. Yeah, boy.
he went into a Cardinals situation this year where Kyler was hurt. This
Mm-hmm.
team went full rebuild in the offseason, absolutely zero expectation. And the Cardinals wound up thus far have been playing very, very hard. They've only got one win, but they've been in close proximity to winning on a few times. So now he gets straight to Minnesota, who of course just lost Kirk Cousins for the season to a torn Achilles. And he could almost, I don't know if he will step in right away because obviously a whole new offense. That's a bit of a tall task to learn in a short week situation. Even though it's not a short week, but when you're traded, it just certainly becomes a short week. So, I mean, in the event he is the starting quarterback, and if he's not this week, he certainly will be after that and for the rest of the season. Does this kind of keep Minnesota's faint hopes of the playoffs alive? Because this team was in the doldrums and has fought their way back to 500. They could be in contention for the last wild card.
I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know. Like, I think Josh Dobbs has played great this year. Like, he's shown that he's a serviceable quarterback. He truly has. I still don't think it's enough to keep him in the playoff picture. He's gonna have to come in, learn the playbook. He's probably a little more mobile than Kurt is, so that could help a bit. They could go on a run, like they could hang around, but I don't know. I don't know if it's enough. I think basically you brought him in, just someone who's got the experience, and can keep the ship somewhat afloat. But I don't think they're a playoff team. I really don't. I think losing Kurt was enough to where you had to say, you know what? It is what it is. The time's up. Now, if Jettas was still playing and not on the IR, I'd say, all right, at least you've got, probably the best wide receiver in the game. You can get him the ball, he can keep you alive. But with those two guys out, this offense is gonna be hard for them to find themselves. They're not gonna be the Kirk Cousins and Vikings. So it's tough. I hope Josh really plays well, but yeah, it's not looking good for Minnesota.
I don't recall what Jettis' timeline was, but I mean it's been a few weeks now that he's been on IR, so in theory he could be coming back.
I haven't heard anything yet. I believe I think they said 4 to 6, so it should be slowly coming up, but that's fine. He comes back, but he's got to get back in game shape, test that, make sure that, he's good to go. I don't know. They would have to go on a run where they win the next 3 or 4 to survive. They really would. They have to go on a run right now.
Yeah.
Playing 500, I don't think works for them. They've got to be better than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they get Atlanta, granted on the road, but they get Atlanta this week. And Ritter, for whatever reason, is not playing this week. Maybe Arthur's just finally realized he's garbage.
He's garbage. Oh my God. And that poor boy. Yeah, well. A for effort. You know what?
A for effort.
Desmond Ritter has heart. I'll give him that. He's got heart, but
he's gritty.
He's a gritty guy. He's like the poor man Shane Falco. Poor man Shane Falco. Gritty and hard, but you're not going to win. As opposed to Shane Falco, where you do win.
Does that make you feel, Desmond Ritter, compared to a fictitious NFL quarterback?
But you're called the poor man's version. That's the worst part.
That's right. A poor man's fictitious character.
A poor man's Keanu Reeves fictitious football player. Wow. I couldn't even give you freaking anybody else. I had to give you Keanu.
Yeah. And then they go by Atlanta. Taylor Heineke is the starter for at least this week. I mean,
Oh yeah, the
is there
Heineken.
yeah, is there a chance that Minnesota could catch them off guard?
I'm going to tell you right now. I think Minnesota's. I think Atlanta's a better team with Taylor Heineke. I really do. He's a solid quarterback. He had that run, in Washington where he almost took out the Bucks in the Bucks Super Bowl season. See, year after that, he was good. He was just on a bad Washington team.
Yeah.
Like, really, if he was on a team with a lot of veterans and such, like proven playmakers, then I think he would have turned out better in Washington. But here, he's smart. I think he doesn't make many mistakes. I think he gives them a better chance to win. So I think you got to watch out for Atlanta right now. I think this could be the jolt that turns their season around a little bit.
Yeah, with a division that is very much they're tied for first right now, very much up for grabs. And you said not having proven weapons in Washington for his years there. He's got Bijan here. He's got Kyle Pitts. He's got Drake London. So there's definitely explosive weapons to take advantage of.
Exactly. And they're going to put him, I think he doesn't make mistakes and they will put him in a spot to succeed. I think he can move that offense. And I think Atlanta could be someone to watch.
Yeah. And the final point on this, where's Arizona? Was this the right move for Arizona I mean, Kyler is up in the air as far as his season's concerned, but he's coming, as he comes back and he's playing, what is this signal to Arizona? Are they committed to Kyler? Or is it, or do we have?
I still don't think they are. Like, if they were to truly bottom out and have the first pick, it would not surprise me if they said, all right, Caleb Williams, we want you. And someone will take a chance on Kyler Murray. He's young. He's got talent. It's just whether he wants to be great or not. Does he want to be great at this football thing? Because he has to ask himself that question because he's got the skill set. Yeah, he's small and stuff, but he can play. He has shown he can make plays in this league.
Very mobile.
If he doesn't want to be that guy, then go back. Call Oakland. They're moving to Vegas. Go back. Let's be realistic. See if they'll say, all right, fine. I go back and, be like, I'm sorry. Should have went with baseball and go on your merry way. But I believe that if Arizona truly bottoms out and they end up with the first pick, I could see Kyler getting traded. Yeah. Someone will give something up.
Oh, yeah. And even if he goes, whether he could go to Vegas one or the other, whether he decides to ditch this and go back to baseball or go to the Raiders.
Yeah, because you know how the Raiders are. They love some malcontent. They'll bring him in, no problem. They'll be like, all right, he's fine. You know what? Tom will mentor him, and Tom will be like, I'm not touching that mess.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not attaching my name to that mumbo jumbo.
Heck, if James Harden played football, they'd probably sign him too.
A nice undersized tight end. He could do a little something. But Arizona is Arizona. We'll see what they do. The thing is they played well with Dobbs. Like, they had to they played hard. Like, you could feel it. Like, they had that feel of a team that's like, no one believes in us, but we believe in each other. Let's play. Now you take Dobbs, you trade him. Minnesota made the deal. You can't blame it. Dobbs is like, all right, I'm guaranteed to start the rest of the year probably as long as I play well.
Yeah.
Because no one knows when Kyler's coming back. Like you said, it's up in the air. So he probably was like, all right, this is an audition for me. Because that's what this is for Dobbs. It's an audition. He's going to play. If he plays well, a team may take a chance on him. Who knows? But, yep, I think time is up in Minnesota. I think it's time to kind of just break it all apart, make Jeddah's your centerpiece and just rebuild it.
But I'll be rooting for Josh Dobbs. I mean, he got people. He got people actually caring about the Cardinals this year, and nobody should care. We even said in the preseason our Cardinals were the second automatic bye.
Yeah, we were like, you don't have Colt McCoy. Like, Colt McCoy was like your big name. Yeah. And then he was out with injury. We're like, wow, this sucks. But no, like you said, people were like, wow, Arizona. Like you wanted to see what they were going to do because Dobbs, you had no faith in Josh Dobbs. It was like a joke. Oh, man, they signed Dobbs. What the heck is this? And then he burst on the scene, showed him that, why he was, drafted pretty decently like he was, and showed he can play. He's a young guy still. He can play. So I hope, like you said, I hope it turns out well for him. He gets a shot somewhere, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, if we're not careful, we're going to turn into a news show talking all this off-field stuff. We got some games to talk about.
Yes.
The first top 3 game, and because we had all this news, we're actually going to give you 4 games this week to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The first
they
one.
Go 4.
Yeah. Quattro.
The Quattro.
The first one.
Not to be mistaken with the Ocho.
Yes. The first one is the NFC East grudge match between Dallas and Philadelphia, and they're 7-1, 5-2. So a game and a half difference there. Dallas is really, for all intents and purposes, on Philadelphia's heels this season, and they play each other. This is yet another disaster of the 17-game schedule. They're playing each other twice in a 5-game span.
Yeah, it's a little too close for comfort. I kind of enjoyed the days where, you maybe play that person week 2 and then week 15. It kind of added to the, well, sooner or later they're going to meet up. But, twice in 5 weeks, hey, it is what it is. I guess get it out of the way. This game right now, as the NFC is constituted, you have to say is against the 2 top teams.
Yeah.
I think you really have to. With the Lions and Seahawks in the 3 and 4 spot, respectively.
Oh, you really dropped the Niners down on that one.
Yeah, Niners have looked absolutely horrible. So unless that offense turns it around, Chase Young's only going to move you up so many. As of right now, they're holding the 5 spot for me. This is going to be fun. It's Philly and Dallas. So you're going to find out if Philly can handle basically the new kids on the block, which is Dallas, because Dallas has always been the team with potential, never follows through. So can Dak stand up against the big bad Philadelphia Eagles and perform? Or are we going to get a Dak 3 interception game and everyone's going to say, oh, same old Cowboys? All the potential, no substance.
Fortunately for Dak, Philadelphia's strength is up front on the defensive line, not in the backfield.
Yeah, well, with Dak, that still sometimes doesn't matter because if they can get after him, he's just going to throw the ball anywhere and everywhere, and sometimes it's just a cornerback. Yep, there's a rando cornerback standing by himself picking lilies out of the ground with 3-pick game, and all of a sudden he turns him into a Pro Bowler. So if Dak plays smart...
Out in the safari when the chimpanzees clean each other's hair.
Exactly. Or it's like your kid who has no athletic talent whatsoever, plays right field in Little League. No talent, but he's having fun chasing butterflies. Like this, what this is. He's getting 3 balls to him. That's what this guy's going to happen with Dak. But if Dak can limit, the interceptions, if Dallas can play clean ball, they've got a good chance to beat Philly. There's no doubt because Philly has shown, they've shown some chinks in the armor. But what Dallas will have to do right off the bat is shut down A.J. Brown. A.J. has to be shut down. He's been unreal this year. 6 straight games, 125-plus receiving yards. He's been unreal. So that needs to get shut down. Swift has kind of slowed down a bit in the backfield. Run game slowed down a little bit. They're going to have to make sure they clamp that, and they've got to get pressure.
What do you think this game is? This going to be a classic NFC East get down and dirty, beat each other up, or do you think AJ, Devontae Smith are going to be running on one side, CD Lamb's going to be running on the other side, and we're just going to exchange touchdowns back and forth, and first team to a turnover loses?
No, I think what happens is at first that's what it is, a slow, every team's, trying to feel each other out. It may be like safe, basic type offense kind of deal. You're going to see a couple 3-and-outs, and then one team will score, and then the floodgates are going to open. If you told me that, this game ends up being a wild, 31-28 game, and most of the points are scored in the second half, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think it's going to be something where, it's like 17-10. I think both offenses will show up because Philly's weakness is the secondary. So I think Dallas will be able to exploit that a bit.
Yeah, once they get
But they're going to bait Dak. If they can get that pressure, Dak is going to try to make something out of nothing, and that's when he gets hurt the most.
Yeah. So take the under first half, take the over second half.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Now watch, it'll be like 31-30 in the first half and nothing else. I'm going to look like a fool because that's the script. Keyword today, folks, script. Because of these matchups. But no, I think it's going to be an entertaining game. If Dallas wins this game, at least for this week, people are going to say, all right, well, Dallas is the team to beat. Because, everyone's waiting to jump on that Dallas bandwagon, and Dallas has not given people reason to really jump on a bandwagon in a long time.
Yeah, betting wise, it's pretty much a pick 'em because it's a 3-point line for Philly, but Philly's at home, so that is pretty much just a home field line. If there was any chance that either of these teams pulls off a sweep of both these games, which one has the better chance to do it?
I'm taking Philly just because I don't trust Dak. For me, if he literally play, I don't need a perfect game. I don't need him to go like 21-24 or whatever, but I need like no picks, no picks, no fumbles. If he goes 21 of 32 for like a 280 and like 2 scores and they win, then hey, Dak did what he needed to do. I have no problem with that. But if he throws 2 touchdowns, throws 3 picks, running for his life, just all out of sorts, I can't have that. So right now I'm taking Philly because I believe they're the more complete at quarterback right now.
We may not hear the end of it from the media if Dak sweeps the Eagles.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be a hot mess. Oh my goodness. Gonna hear the boys are back.
We them boys.
We them boys, man. Turn off my social medias. I don't want to hear it. But you know what? If they win, they win. They deserve it. But here's the thing: this isn't your Super Bowl. So don't win this game and then next week get smacked. By a lesser opponent. Like this is what you wanted. You're telling people that you guys are as good. Prove it. But you've also got to continue that after this game.
Yeah. Next up, the Tyreek homecoming is finally upon us. It's been a couple of years. And of course, the fans are completely robbed of it as the NFL decided to play this game in Germany.
9 a.m., man, 9 a.m. It's one thing when you're putting the Jags and the Bills at 9 a.m. Whatever, I'm fine with that. But this game I want to see, now I got to set my alarm all extra. Good Lord.
This is the type of game that really confirms that the NFL wants to put a franchise over in Europe because especially this year with these two teams the way they've been playing, this is a crown jewel to put in front of an international audience.
This is like a Sunday night game. This is like the game. And you put it over there, I get it. Hey, the NFL isn't stupid. They know what they want. And we've talked about this, The rumor's always been that the Jacksonville Jaguars were going to be that team. If any team was going to move or relocate or anything, it was going to be the Jags, and they were going to be the team to go overseas. So, yep, I think they're continuing to prep, and I think what this game does is sets it up for them to have a Super Bowl. I think you'll get a Super Bowl overseas before you're going to get a team. It's just going to that's what's going to happen. They'll have the Super Bowl. They'll show that it's incredible. Everyone wants to be there. And then within probably 3 to 5 years, a team will end up there.
Yeah, I could definitely see a Super Bowl coming very soon. London, Frankfurt, whatever it is. Maybe
exactly.
Madrid, maybe.
Why not Amsterdam?
Hey, party time.
Just saying. But yes, this game is the game I'm really interested in seeing because, like you said, it's Tyreek versus KC. It's the matchup that everyone wants to see. We're going to find out if Miami truly is the elite of the AFC. Because until Kansas City either gets eliminated, doesn't make the playoffs, they are the defending champs. So they are the top of the hill. So this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Outside of this being a complete trap, which I could totally see the betting lines doing this, the most easiest money this weekend would have to be a Tyreek Hill anytime touchdown.
Oh my Lord.
Tyreek loves the spotlight. So if there's any chance he's gonna score a touchdown, it's gonna be this game.
And the thing is I'm impressed. I like Kansas City's secondary. It's pretty good. They've got Snead on there. They've got good guys, but it's freaking Tyreek Hill, man. This man is he's a cheat code. He is your Madden number one. This guy is unreal, and I think he's going on a mission.
Yeah.
I think he wants to prove to KC that, you know what? You guys should have paid me what I wanted. If you had paid me, you wouldn't have these issues you're having this year. You're not having these issues. So I think he kind of wants to he'll put Miami on his shoulders and say, all right, let's do this.
And speaking of those issues, based on what we've seen out of the Chiefs this year, is this a more than pretty good chance that the Dolphins actually will win this game?
If the Dolphins' offensive line can hold up, then yeah, I think they can. I feel confident in that because I think the Chiefs' strength on defense is their pass rush. I think they have a very strong pass rush. Their secondary is solid as well. There's no doubt about it. But that pass rush makes things happen. And with this Miami offense, you know what? We're talking about Tyreek, but Waddle could be the guy.
Yeah.
He very well could be the guy because it's funny. Like no one, like we talk about Waddle, but we really don't.
He's been a little hurt this year too, though.
Yeah, he's been hurt, but I believe he's pretty healthy for this game. Tyreek is the Batman. Waddle's the Robin. But earlier this year, it was all about the run game. We were hanging our hats on that run game, Sutton fierce.
Yeah.
So I think the run game is still going to be solid. But yeah, Waddle could be the guy who steals the show.
Tyreek's the Batman, Waddle's the Robin, Chase Claypool is the Alfred.
Yeah, maybe he'll show up. The future tight end of the Miami Dolphins. Like really, like if this guy can't make it happen in Miami, then Claypool just needs to go to the XFL. Call it a day.
Yeah,
call it a day. But no, this game is going to be quite entertaining. KC needs to limit the drops. Those other receivers need to show up. It's real. KC's in a rough spot.
I think you're right on the line. I think if they can neutralize Chris Jones, they'll have a pretty decent chance.
Mm-hmm. It's a situation where KC has not looked good, not looked strong. If those guys are dropping passes and Miami figures out a way to basically bracket freaking Mr. Swift himself, aka Travis Kelce,
Taylor's boyfriend.
Yep. Then it's going to be a long day for Patrick. I know he had the flu, and oh my God, he gets a pass because he had the flu. Wah, wah, wah. But you're the anointed NFL golden child, so you better perform, and that means you take out the Dolphins.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Do we know if Miss Swift will be following them overseas?
I haven't heard anything, but I'll tell you this much: if I get up at 9 something in the morning and her face is plastered on my TV screen, there's gonna be an issue.
Go back to bed.
I don't care. Oh my Lord, I don't need to know. We don't need her over there. It's okay. We've seen her enough. Let's wait till everyone gets back stateside, really. But no, I haven't heard of anything about her being over there. But no, I think this game is going to be entertaining. Whether she's there or not, Miss Swift, I'll have to deal with it. But it'll be great to see Tyreek go up against KC and what KC will dial up for him.
Yeah. The next game features two teams that we've had a lot of fun taking jabs at this year.
What? Okay. Well,
they put it in prime time too. They put it in prime time, and on paper, this should be a prime time matchup. This should be an AFC Championship preview. At least going into the season. Right now, obviously, the Dolphins pretty much have a lock there, but
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Bengals,
Well,
Buffalo Bills.
the reason we jabbed at the Cincinnati was it was the calf thing. It was don't be stupid, let Burrow rest, and there was reasons for that. Buffalo, they're just straight up frauds, man. We talked about, and I still stand
Still,
by it. I said it. I said it weeks ago, and I'm gonna say it again. I don't trust them.
yeah.
I don't trust them. Now, if they go and they handle Cincinnati, okay, I might backtrack a little bit. They're not. I'll be. This is what I will say. They are not as fraudulent as I believe they are. But you know, Cincinnati handled the Niners, and at that point, we felt the Niners were a lot better than Buffalo.
Yeah. They really handled the Niners.
And it was the Niners offense that was jacked up. It wasn't their defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Joe Shiesty went out there and showed why people feel he's one of the elite of the elite. So, if Buffalo doesn't get it together quick, it could be the same result. It wouldn't surprise me. I honestly believe the Bengals are going to handle business. This is not going to be a pretty game.
Yeah, I would think that Buffalo, like the home field here, is going to play a bigger factor, and Buffalo would have a better chance to upend them if they're at home. But it just dawned on me. This is the rematch of the Damar Hamlin game. The game that really could have decided the playoff picture last year, of course, was canceled because of this horrible
mm-hmm.
health situation. I don't necessarily want to call it an injury, even though it technically is, but I don't necessarily want to call it that because it's a little bit more. It was a little more severe than just a sprained knee. But this is like the comeuppance for
Yeah.
for that game not finishing last year.
The thing is Cincinnati doesn't care where they play. They don't care.
Yeah,
They
they go into Arrowhead and win.
oh, you mean when they called it Burrowhead?
Yeah,
They're walking around no fear, and as any team should. You shouldn't be scared to play anywhere. But Cincinnati truly does not care where they play. They believe they can beat you anywhere. They'll play you in a parking lot behind a supermarket. They
yeah,
don't care. They will beat you. So for them to go into Buffalo, they don't care.
yeah.
They've beat them there before. They don't care.
But
They're going to sit there and say, okay, well, your defense is shot. You've got guys on the IR. Your offense is sporadic, is all. And we have Joe Shiesty. And Jamar Chase.
yeah,
So we're going to do
what did he call himself? 7-Eleven because he's always open.
7-Eleven like he's always open. So you're telling me that? Come on now. That team does not care who they. And even when they lose, they're like, yeah, we don't care. Whatever. We'll be back. There's no shortage of, I don't want to call it arrogance, but strong belief in what they can do. So
It's the
yeah,
take the dirt
exactly.
off your shoulder.
Exactly. And with Joe Shiesty 100%, that team has no fear. So unless Buffalo plays a perfect game, sorry, Buffalo, you're just cementing yourself as the fraudulent Bills that I thought you were. Just going to be honest. They need to beat Cincinnati. They have to. This is a game that they need to have for their own confidence.
Yeah.
But
Reputation and confidence aside, who needs
mm-hmm.
the game more in a tangible football sense? Because you have Buffalo who's 5-3. I think that's a game behind Miami, and you have Cincinnati who's 4-3, and Baltimore is running away with their division at the moment. So who needs this more just from a tangible football sense?
If you're talking tangible standings aspect, I'm gonna say Cincinnati slightly because of how they started. They finally have Joe healthy now, so they're gonna go on that run where next thing Baltimore could be looking them eye to eye because we're still not 100% sold on Baltimore either. Yeah, they've played well as of late, but is that really the Baltimore that we're gonna get through the rest of the year? So I think Cincinnati, from that standpoint, needs it more. But if you're talking psychological, there's no doubt Buffalo needs it.
Oh yeah, Yeah.
Okay, you beat up on the Tampa Bay Bucks who were rough, and came back and nearly beat you with a Hail Mary. So let's be realistic. You barely beat them, so you need to beat a team that has some type of pedigree, some type of legitness to them to say, okay, you know what, we're okay. We're going to be all right this season. If you lose to Cincinnati, all you are questions. And next thing you know, maybe some grumbles start in the locker room, because there's always an individual or two who likes to grumble a bit over there in Buffalo in the wide receiver room. Who knows?
I don't know who that would be.
Diggs. But no, I love you, Stefan. If you're watching, I love you, man. But
Your commercials are epic.
Quality, love them, loving them. But at the end of the day, if you're talking for the emotional health of the team, Buffalo needs this win.
Yeah. Do you think the Damar Hamlin aspect does play a little bit extra in their motivation?
I don't think so because of what the situation was. No, I think once all that happened that night, it was more that it went beyond football. So I don't think that holds any kind of weight in that aspect.
Yeah.
The league decided not to replay the game. That's you can't hold the teams accountable. The league said, nope, we're not replaying it. That's if anyone has any beef, meaning Buffalo, then you got to take that up with the league. I'm sure Cincinnati would have played it if they had to. It wasn't their call.
Yeah.
So I think Buffalo needs to kind of sit there and not use that as a crutch or anything. They need to say, you know what, we need to beat this team because they've flipped it around and they're a scary team. Over the last couple of weeks, they've played well. We haven't played well.
The final game to wrap up is the aforementioned Baltimore Ravens. They are hosting Seattle. Seattle
comes in. It's like the yawner game. I don't want to be mean about it, but it's like
two first-place clubs. What's the yawner?
Yeah, but you look at what else is there. This is like you had. You went to. It's like.
This is the first game in many weeks where we have 4 legitimate matchups. I will take that. I will take that any day.
Okay, so tell me, rank in order in which you would view them from most to least.
Oh, this is
which one?
This is still 4 amongst the 4 for sure. I won't deny that. But I mean, I think that just speaks to the quality of the other 3 games.
Okay, let's say it was the Falcons in Seattle. They're both first place teams. So that's what you're hanging it on. Okay, so
well, no, because I don't have much faith in Atlanta. Other than the fact that they play hard and they have a lot of.
It's not a bad game. It's not a bad game. I'm not telling you, but I'm like, okay, all right, it's cool.
But the first thing that sticks out about this to me like a sore thumb is the point spread. Baltimore's a 6-point favorite. Seattle, they've gotten ugly wins, but like we say all the time, sometimes you need those ugly wins. So that's kind of a disrespectful point spread to put on this game, especially with the question marks that we see about Baltimore. I mean, they are Lamar or nothing.
Yes, but it goes to show basically the public perception. Baltimore was a sexy pick at the beginning of the year. Let's be honest. Everyone was like, "Ooh, the weapons! Baltimore's going to be Baltimore's this 5,000-yard passing team. They're going to be all this." And okay, they finally have started to evolve into a passing team, and it's former MVP Lamar. So of course, people are going to gravitate to that. Seattle is that team that just wins ugly. Like, it's not pretty, but they're going to get the wins. And you respect that. But I think people are waiting for Seattle to fall apart. There's going to be a point where people don't think they can win the big ones. Mm-hmm. Like, could they be there at the end and win the division? They could. I think the Niners would have to continue to slide. beyond belief for me to say, all right, well, no, this is Seattle's division to lose. Right now, I still think that the Niners are going to come back and win the division.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could be wrong, but that's what I feel right now.
That this 3-game skid is temporary.
Yes, and that they'll catch fire, and then Seattle will maybe cough up a couple games here and there, and the Niners will catch them towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Niners are going to rip off 4 in a row and just take over the division right away. Could take some time. It could be a situation where they're going back and forth, and then those division games are going to be what decides this.
Yeah, for the Niners to rip this off very quickly, Seattle would just have to implode.
Exactly.
And I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't know if Seattle's that team where it's like, oh man, you hang your hat on them and you're like, yeah, they got a decent offense but a overpowering defense. It's like they're like middle of the road. Like they win, but it's not one part isn't better than the other. Meaning it's either a great offense or adequate defense or the other way around. So. I'm giving Seattle all the props in the world. Hey, man, you're division leader. I can't take anything away from you. But now that you see how the Niners are, you have to capitalize on it, and you need to win every game you can. Because if you falter a couple games here and there, the Niners will come back.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. It's an interesting matchup.
All right, feet to the fire. We've obviously talked a lot about the gaps on Baltimore this season. Is Seattle's not the team they used to be that couldn't buy a win on the road. Do you think they go into the Ravens' home and take this from them?
Wow. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. It's a healthy Lamar. I think they have just enough. They've got just enough to beat Seattle. I think the Lamar factor sway. If it was anybody else at quarterback, I'd say no. I'd say Seattle could take it, but Lamar's healthy. They're starting to throw the ball. They've got Mark Andrews involved in the offense more.
Finally.
Exactly. So it's a more well-rounded. Gus Edwards is running the ball. He's had a great couple games. So if the offense continues the way they've been the last few weeks, I think it's a situation where it'll probably be fourth quarter where Baltimore pulls away.
Well, unfortunately, we're pulling away. That will wrap up this show. A halfway point of the 2023 NFL season. Week
already halfway, man. Sheesh, feels like we just started this bad boy journey.
I know, and there's a heck of a lot of great games this week. I'm excited. I know you're excited. Plus, we get some live football to take in this weekend. We'll figure out how to do our live. I don't know how we'll do it, but we'll do our live.
We'll be somewhere. This is going to be interesting because, this is the first show where we're on location apart. Oh no! But no, I'm excited about it. Every week is exciting. There's always something good. You can always find something in the game. So I'm really excited about this. Like I said, our top 4 games are solid games. These are games that possibly could tell the tale playoff time.
Catch Sunday Scaries with Buccs McGee every Sunday morning, premiering 8 a.m. Eastern time on both YouTube and Rumble. Our audio sidecar show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts a few hours earlier if you want to get your Sunday started a little bit. There's a football game starting soon. Bucks McGee, take us off here.
All right, everybody, enjoy your games. As I always say, hope your team wins. If it doesn't, it's always next week. For your Raider fans, I know you're happy about Josh being gone. Celebrate. Have a couple extra beers for me, and we'll talk to you soon.